How's it going, guys? VaulSC here. We're going to take a look at a special game of infiNity between Morats and Morats. It's the Silver Vor. It's the mirror match. It's going to be between my Morats against Jed's Morats, and two very different lists for this one. It's going to be Jed trying out the new Raikou, who's recently been buffed, shall we say. He now has a mine dispenser, a different profile that you can take. There's a shotgun in there. So we'll see how that goes. I'll be running a fairly basic Morat list that mainly centers around the Yaogat link, the MSV2 guys, the Osnat Hungries link, and a couple of Krakot Renegades. So the mission we're going to be playing is Acquisition, and that is one where there are three objectives through the middle. The central objective is the most important. What you're wanting to do is use your data tracker to move into base-to-base contact with the middle objective at the end of the game to maximize your points, but there can be additional points gained from pressing the button on the two side objectives and controlling those. All right, so having a look, we'll just go through around a few picks. So there's not going to be too many of them. Just put the face up here. So our friend Jed uses not the actual Raikou model, but the classic XRAM model. I forget what this guy is called, but he's the guy with the big wings. This used to be a combined army model you could have way back in the day, and it was a tag that had airborne deployment. It drops in and blows up and some cool stuff like that, but it doesn't do that anymore. It's not really a model in the game anymore, so Jed's using this as a Raikou. Then he's got his HVT up the side here. There's an Ikadron Batroid and Dr. Worm over here. He won the lieutenant role and is opting to go first for this, if you know. So there's the model in all its glory there. You can't buy this guy anymore. So if you've got one, good job. He's running Captain Cornac right here. He's running the Raktarak with Vulcan Shotgun, just as I do, and the HMG guys. So this is really good Hurry Slink team. I run it myself when I play Morats too, so he's doing that. He's got Dr. Worm's helper right over here. Now, this is his Hungry Slink. He's got the Osnat right here, and these Gene Stealers from 140,000 are representing Hungries. So one of them's a Gaki, one of them's a Predator. I found it really interesting that he's running a 10-order list, and he's using like a 3-man fireteam core. So he's got the Haris here, and this is actually a team that can go up to 5, but he's not using all 5 because he didn't have the points, which makes a lot of sense. On my side of the table, though, this is my extreme left-hand flank. We've got the Krakot with Red Fury here, my own Osnat, of course, and he's got 5 Hungries. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, there's 4 Hungries plus him for 5. This one here is the Gaki. The rest of them are Predators with their chain rifles. Got the Ikadron right here. And further in the middle of the table, we'll see the Yaogats and our drone in a sec. Okay, so my Haris Link team is in the center. That's my HVT through there. We've got the R drone behind some total cover here. This is the Yaogat with Combi and Haris rule. Panzerfaust, of course, my multi-sniper reserve model going down up top. My lieutenant is down inside this building here, so he's underneath the roof, trying to stay safe. Further over here, you could see the lieutenant is inside this building. If you didn't realize that, I'll just move the camera out of the way, actually. So this can come down here. Bit and Kiss, of course. Love taking Bit and Kiss. They give Morats some really good specialists and repeating and, of course, amazing hacking. Q-Drone with HMG with the doctor nearby in case he takes some wounds. And further afield, there's going to be another Morat with Red Fury. Really big fan of the Red Fury profile, so take 2. And extreme right-hand side, you can see the other Ikadron and the Morat hacker there to provide assisted fire for the Q-Drone. A bit of a close-up on Jed's Cornac and Morat crew, just since I think they look really cool. Okay, so he starts off by moving the Raikou down the flank, just full bore, full throttle. And as you can see, he's moving towards my lines here where he can start picking off some of my troopers. So he's going to come around here and just start picking off some of the Predators very easily. So you can see right in the corner here, trying to throw a mine with his shiny new mine dispenser, but unfortunately rolls a ridiculously high number and fails the attempt altogether. So in fact, a mine doesn't go down. But what he is able to do is push through to my lines here and take up a position behind this building, and that will allow him to shoot at this Predator quite easily and this Gaki over here and remove these guys. And these are regular orders, effectively, that are just coming out of my group. So he's doing well to push through and take the kills. Then he moves in and just tries to get line of sight to, I think, either my Krakot or some more of the Hungries. Unfortunately, though, he's moved in range of this Ikadron here. Now, the Ikadron, look, this is open information. He can come around my side of the table. He knows that it's a repeater. He has Ikadrons of his own. He wasn't quite sure whether this would be an 8-inch range once he moved over around here, but we checked it and it was. So my hacker fires off an Overlord onto the tag as he decides to shoot. He had the option of just going for a reset once we realized that there might have been a range, or that I declared the attack actually, but he chose not even to reset, didn't even bother with it. I feel like two mistakes here. Number one, obviously not giving the Ikadron enough respect, and mistake number two, not choosing to go for the reset once he realized he was in range, because when you reset, you have a good chance of stopping the possession, and then your next order you can move and reset again and maybe get the tag out alive. The worst thing that can happen to you really is when the tag's possessed in your active turn, because A, it shuts down the run, and B, you lose your tag because I just move it into my line. So that's what happens. The Overlord goes off for free, he doesn't pass the BTS save, and he is possessed. So my opponent severely morally disheartened at this point that his brand new tag profile has been possessed, but the game must continue. Coming over to my turn, the possessed tag turns around. He's moved up an Ikadron next to it, just because he wants to sabotage his own tag. He doesn't actually have a hacker that can hit it with a exorcism, so decides to flamethrower his own tag. I'm moving through with the Raikou and just shooting at point blank. The tag manages to tank the flamethrower save and destroy the Ikadron. And then moving the tag back towards my lines and just putting it into base contact with the Predator and the Osnat. This means that while it's possessed, there's no combat, but as soon as he takes his tag back, it's in base-to-base contact and will count as being engaged with these two troopers. The Raikou will have a really tough time beating two troopers at once, especially consider the Osnat's pretty good at close combat, and he's right next to a repeater, so as soon as he tries to free the tag and go into close combat, he's going to get hit by another Overlord hacking attempt, unfortunately. Elsewhere, my Krakot moving through, I've actually put down a mine with the mine dispenser from the Raikou since I possess it now, and I've got a mine remaining in the arsenal. But anyway, the Ikadron had been destroyed by the Raikou, so the Krakot steps up and gets Extreme Prejudice, picks up the classified from it, and then moves around to a point here where he can assail the right-hand flank of the enemy Morat team. This model here is an X-Ram model, which is an HVT. Elsewhere, moving through with the Q drone, setting up assisted fire on it, getting into a good position to arrow. So when it comes to my opponent's turn 2, he's setting up the HMG in the hurry slink and firing at the Q drone, which is in the distance over here. And it's a pretty bloody shootout. The first face-to-face roll results in a crit for both sides, so nothing happens. The second face-to-face roll results in the Q drone winning, and the HMG takes a single wound. And then the third face-to-face roll results in the HMG destroying the Q drone. So life moves on, but at least the Q drone has done a little bit of work. He's moved around with his Dr. Worm, and I'm not too sure what he's doing there to reposition. But he's able to get to a point here where he's able to shoot the Krakot. The Krakot, of course, can fire a chest mine in response, but the Doctor, I believe, tanks it, and the Krakot is actually destroyed. So well done to the Q drone. Over here, it's my second turn. The tag is still possessed. He decided not to spend the command token to retrieve it. So what we're doing now is moving out with the Osnat. Osnat just needs to move out and throw some smoke down. In the meantime, the Pressure is holding the fort against the tag here. So the idea is to get some smoke thrown down so that the Yaogats can make use of it. What happens here is that the sniper rifle is able to move over to this corner here and then lean out so his silhouette sticks out from the side of the wall and fire at the position of the HMG Harris team. So that happens, the smoke goes down, the sniper moving along the side, able to lean out and fire at the position of the Kornak Harris with the Surya HMG, and forcing him back into cover. Unfortunately not killing him though, which is annoying because he only had one wound left, and this is a sniper rifle that fires 3 times and every shot has a double action round, but didn't happen. So moving up with the other Krakot to the right-hand flank of the table, just climbing up behind some crates here and setting up suppression fire. This is Kornak's team here. Suppression fire is only going to really cover him on these small angles here, We know that they're going to move past eventually, but the point is to position him in a spot where he can flank around them or even take them from behind once they set up in the middle of the table, because they're going to have to go for the central objectives at some point. Now, my opponent has a Raikou. This is the airborne deployment trooper. So he tries to go for a drop into the middle of my lines. I've got a hacker, he doesn't, so he does not have control jump. I've got hack transport, and he does actually get dispersed, unfortunately, and lands here instead, where he's going to be threatened by Flash Pulse if he moves in any other direction. Bit and Kiss have got a bit of a line past him here. The Doctor might be able to turn around. So Raikou trying to move out and sadly getting crushed. So since we're moving towards his last turn, he's going to move out with the team now. So these guys moving through, and there's a Crackot ready to ambush them later, but they're moving out anyway. So with the rack-to-rack moving up, trying to just do a trade here because it's a Vulcan shotgun Haris against the Crackot and suppression fire. So they trade blows here. There is also a chain rifle he can use, but the rack-to-rack unfortunately doesn't get very lucky, and when he tries to go after the Crackot, actually gets shredded by the suppression fire, sadly. The other boys moving through to the objective and just splitting up now. So we've got Kodak is on this objective here, and the Soviet HMG who's wounded is on this one. And they're just going to sit up here because what they really just need to do is hold these objectives and beat off the incoming fire, and you know, they might actually still be able to win. We've also got the remaining aliens here, the Hungaries, moving up through as well, just to be annoying and also to threaten the Crackot as he comes down. So Kornak set up suppression fire, but it's my final turn here. So the Crackot just rolls over with Impetuous, and this enables him to effectively fire some chest mines or SMG into Kornak, which he does successfully and removes Kornak. Then it's just a matter of the sniper moving through here, and he does have a couple of things to contest with. There's a Doctor in the distance, there's a Soviet HMG, there's some Predators, some Hungaries this way, but he's a multi-sniper, so he's able to go after them and do some serious damage. Then our data tracker, Bit and Kiss, can move up towards the objective, getting in range of the Predators, the Hungaries in the distance, but of course the Yaogats there are able to do that. And then Bit and Kiss make the way through after the carnage is done. So yeah, just unfortunate for my opponent to charge through with the Raikou straight away and lose him. I feel like his list was actually really cool. I actually liked it, and it's the kind of list that I would play myself. The only thing that I would really do different there is just be more respectful of where the repeaters are, respect the fact your opponent's got a hacker, and when you get to about this point, rather than coming in range of the repeater here, if we go back a step, once you're around here, just get a few kills, just get the easy kills, and then what he could do is retreat his footsteps and sort of come back towards the deployment zone back here, and just leave the tag there. If I move a Yaogat team or a Q drone around to start shooting at him, it's going to take the entire turn to kill him. I might not even kill him. I have to remove him from unconscious, otherwise the Doctor's going to be able to revive him. And it just means that nothing else in his army dies. He should still have another 9 orders to use with all of the rest of his troops. Then he can bring the Raikou on once I'm out of position. He can move Kornak up and deal with the rest of my armies. So it's actually a pretty good list. Just got to play it well. Tags aren't always that easy to use. I recommend that if you're not very good at positioning tags, just use them in your deployment zone to ARO with, because the armor 8 plus the 3 for the cover, and they've got Blister 14 with the multi-HMG firing an explosive round in ARO, so that's what they do best in my opinion. Still good to see the new Raikou profile on the table. Even I got to use it because I possessed it. Not with the same stats through possession, of course, but still a good one. We've got plenty more bat reps coming this week, guys, and hope you stay around for them. We'll be posting them soon.